Our part 2 podcast, and instead of the last video where it was only me, I have my dad.
Hey guys.
So sorry it was later than I said it would be because I had to do a few stuff before we did the podcast, like set it up and stuff. So I have a few questions I want to ask Dad, and then he can ask a few questions about me, and then we can talk about the channel and stuff so far. And so my first question is, why did you make an arcade?
Well, I started an arcade because I was born in 1981 and I was raised up in the 80s. And arcades back then were the fun thing for us to do. We had Atari, coming out of Atari, which I had an Atari too, but then they had the Nintendo and Sega and things like that. But it wasn't really, that was just something you did once you, I grew up in a time era where most of the stuff we did was outside somewhere, building forts and stuff. And that's, they had skate parks, we used to go skating, bowling, and arcade. That was what I did for fun. I would actually call a cab at the age of like 11 years old, me and my friends, and take a cab to the mall, and we'd spend the whole day at the arcade. So when I was thinking about business to get into, I said, man, what cooler business? And I was thinking about you. I was thinking, Bray would just have hands down the coolest experience if we owned an arcade, a family center, and he could basically be there anytime he wanted and play anytime he wanted. So that's essentially how we started. Of course, you probably remember the story of how we got the first claw machine, but that was all the reason from that.
And I know that you met YouTubers, like, have you ever met any other YouTubers than Joe and Matt?
I probably have along the way, but honestly, like, I'm friends with a few of the ones, but I've never like hung out with them, like the claw kicker, Aaron. I'm friends with him, and a few other YouTubers. But as far as like actually getting in person with, the only ones that I know are just people that are local.
Has anyone ever asked to be in one of a video or a video?
Yeah, I've been in Matt's video. I've been in Joe's video. I've had a few people ask me about doing a collab together, but the only reason why I never went through was their location and my location was two different places. So we always said if we ever had the opportunity to meet up, we would. But that's the biggest thing. It's just the wonderful thing about YouTube is there's people from all over the world that you can talk to. But the bad thing is actually going up and meeting them in person. It's kind of hard at times.
Before I ask the next question, I know you guys were most podcasts are live. Not all of them, but most of them. And the reason why ours isn't live is, first of all, I can't figure out how to do it live because I'm recording on an iPhone. And second of all, it's if I did do it live, I don't think I could record my screen, although a lot of people can. I can't because, once again, I'm on an iPhone. And, I'm going to ask about 3 or 2 more questions, and then Dad can start asking questions about me. So, my next question is, why did you start a channel? I know you had started off with like skits and different things like that, but why did you just start a channel and period?
Well, I was telling this to Bray yesterday actually, but I've actually had a YouTube channel and been uploading videos on YouTube since its inception, since it started. First videos I used to do is, at the time I had a videography business, and I would upload videos for local bands. I did music videos for them, and I would start them up a channel and upload that video, and then did a video for a former PGA golfer uploaded that video for him. He had a book out called The Ultimate Golf Secret, and he wanted to do an instructional video to follow up on that. So we recorded a 2-part series with that, uploaded that on YouTube for him. Did Grandpap, my dad, Bray's Grandpap, wrote a book about how to get a job on the railroad, and then did another book about breaking up and got it published, and how to get through a divorce, basically. And I did a video for him. So I've been on YouTube since pretty much it started, and I love the idea of YouTube. I've had a video camera back when I had the big old VHS cameras in my hand since I was a kid, and kind of the same way that Bray does to this day. It's funny how he followed in my footsteps with that. So to have a platform where you can go on and share what you consider your work to other people and people enjoy it, that's just amazing. But that's essentially how I got started on YouTube. And now with this channel, the Josh Bartley one, I actually just created that because I forgot to log into my other one, and at the time I had no intentions of uploading videos up until we met Matt, Arcade Matt, and then that kind of went from that point on.
And what do you do if you're not subscribed to my channel already?
Hit that subscription button.
Okay, that was kind of one that was unscripted, and I just thought of that like a few minutes ago. But my last question is why did you change to claw machines to coin pusher?
Well, when we first started, Matt, that's what he uploaded, was the claw machine stuff. And I knew his passion. I don't think I was as passionate as he was about it, but I can remember being little and not be able to pass a claw machine up and wanting to play, and the feeling you get when you actually win something. We had a crane route, which basically what that means is we put claw machines up in storefronts, and also had a couple small arcades and moose clubs and places like that. And my idea at first, when I met Matt and realized that there's an audience out there for that I could show what it's like being an owner of a couple arcades and a crane route, and sort of how I set the machines up, the strength, how you win. But it never really caught on. But the first video I uploaded at Flying J's of us playing the coin pusher, which is the first one, I think it was either me or it might have been one of the guys that worked for us, Brian. He was the manager of one of the family centers. He came up and we played together, and that video just went crazy. And then I did an experiment because people kept giving me suggestions about using a magnet, which I knew U.S. currency, didn't have the properties in it. It's nickel and whatever else. It can't work. But I just wanted to show people that it didn't. And that video just went absolutely amazing. So I just seen there was an audience out there, and at the time no one was feeling it, was doing coin pushers. So I'm proud to say I was sort of the original coin pusher uploader, I guess.
It was funny because I watched the video and so many people were disappointed that the quarters didn't work, and it was so funny because everyone was like, it's going to work, and then he put the magnet up and it just was like, just nothing happened. Well, and so many people were disappointed.
Funny thing about that video too was so many people said I wasn't using the proper magnet. I was actually using a fish tank magnet, which is funny. The magnet that you put in fish tanks to clean the glass. No, same thing.
Yeah.
But so I went and bought the neodymium. That's supposed to be one of the strongest magnets on the planet. And although it did work essentially because the paper clips and stuff that they put on there to hold, it would pull that off. But so it would work, but is it worth it, kind of thing?
Well, the quarters are kind of like aren't the main thing, because the money is like the thing that you want. Like, it's funny because most people are disappointed when they didn't find out that the quarters happened instead of the money with the paper clips. But you use quarters to get the paper clip, to get the money. So it's just not a waste of time anyways. But the problem is when you get stuck, the glass in between, like the thing that holds up the glass, has a little it's thick, and if it gets too far down, it gets stuck, and you're just left with money on the glass. which is one of the funny things because you're like, oh, I gotta say a $20 bill was on there, and then it just gets stuck on the glass, and you're just like, oh no. Okay, that was all the questions I had for you, and I'll let Dad ask questions for me. So, here's the microphone.
So I'm going to ask you the same questions I asked yesterday, but one of the things that people don't know is when I first started the family center in the arcade, Bray was our original mascot. I had Bray. We had a big box truck. That was one of the first things that I bought, and Bray was like all the way across the box truck playing a claw machine, right? Is that what you were playing, a claw machine? And then we were in magazines locally. We were in newspapers. Bray was plastered all over that. We did a billboard at the busiest intersection in the area, and Bray was the mascot for that. So what was it like early on having your little celebrity in around the area, like for schools and stuff?
Well, I remember going to PreK, and I was laying down sleeping, and I remember waking up in the middle of the night, looking at the teacher, and the teacher said, "Hey, I saw you on the billboard yesterday," and I was like, "Yeah, that's cool," and then I fell back asleep. I'll tell you, in PreK, I hated nap time. And, like, that was the worst thing ever. Like, that was my enemy back then. I'd rather be playing and doing all the other stuff. But now, I would rather do nap time any day.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing I have, ever since I went to Williamsburg, I, loved his, like, Revolutionary War and stuff like that. And that's the only thing I'd rather do than, nap time. But I guess you hate it until you don't get it, and then it's just gone. But
yeah, that's how it works. Trust me. That's why when parents tell their children to enjoy school while it's there, they don't really understand what they're saying up until they actually are out of school. Then they realize how nice that was. Well, second question. I asked you this yesterday again, but what was it like? While all the other kids were coming in, you got to go in the back where no one else, the employees only and everything. What was it like actually growing up inside of an arcade?
Well, I didn't really know. Like, I just thought of it like, my dad works here and I get back here. But once I actually started going to other arcades, like with my mom and like just for fun in the mall, I was like, we can't go back here? Because I was so used to going back there, and then he said, no, we can't, and then I was like, oh, and then I started, like, thinking of it different, and, like a cool place, like, where only I and the people that work there were there. But it was like an old, it was like an old building, and the bathroom there and the staff only, I'd rather not use that bathroom.
Oh, at the mall?
At the mall,
yeah.
The employee's bathroom was way dirtier than the
public bathroom.
Mm-hmm. And I'd rather, like, going to the bathroom, if I couldn't hold it, I'd go to the public bathroom, because I did not like that bathroom at all.
It stunk in there, too.
It stunk, I had to cover my nose the whole time. There were mouse traps that didn't even have mice in them. It was just nasty. Either it was a good bathroom made, and then the people used it really bad, or it was just built bad.
So with that, a follow-up question. Outside, let's give a shout out to Wendy, because we know she's watching.
Yeah, we know Wendy's watching.
Wendy, you're amazing. You are just absolutely such an amazing asset to our lives. Bray's channel, my channel. It's such a pleasure to have you. I'm glad that you show support to all of us.
And shout out to Wendy P, Lady Lotus, and a few other people. John. I don't know if you guys are watching this, but shout out to you guys. If you're watching this, and if you're coming from my dad's channel, which probably most of you are, but if you're coming from just finding my channel, make sure you subscribe to my dad's channel. We just hit 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, 112 now.
So.
All right, so the next question is, what was your favorite thing about getting raised up in the arcade or being there, and what was the least favorite?
So my favorite thing was being able to like go around the mall anytime I wanted, and I knew most of the people. Like I knew and these people named Angelo's Pizza, and they actually had 2 kids.
Yeah,
I forgot
about
the
your
name.
age.
About my age.
Yeah, but it's funny how it works, especially with the smaller places that are locally owned. Once you're in the mall, you become friends with everybody there. And we had our nice little community that we'd meet up and talk with every day. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
And it was cool because once there was a fire drill, and I literally didn't know what it was. I thought there was actually a fire, and I was back there, and I was freaking out. And turns out it was just like
Just a false alarm.
A false alarm, but the bad thing was that I couldn't like play most of the games. I could play them, but I couldn't play everything. Like I couldn't play it. It was like I could play it like whenever I wanted, but I couldn't like just keep on playing it all day, every day, because it was kind of hard to read. It was, like, to me, it was just, like, you put in the tickets and it's gone, but it was actually hard to open up the machine. And it's kind of hard to do that without being noticed, because you have to do that only if you, like, if it depends how much people play it, because if someone, like, wants to play it, you have to wait until they play it, and if it's all out of coins. And it sucks because you don't know if it's out of coins or not, and you had to check it at the end of the day. And I remember there's a Bouncy house, and I love that thing. That was like my headquarters there.
Yeah, you didn't mention that yesterday. I was gonna ask you about the Bouncy house because that's where PreK spent most of his time outside of the little movie theater we had.
Yeah, I remember it used to be back where there was a computer in the back, and then all of a sudden just started saying that internet was off, and it started saying weird things. So we had I think that was is that the same one that we had in the room?
What's that? The computer?
Yeah, is that the same?
No,
one
we had a
that was
different one there.
We had a different one there, but it always used to say that there was no internet connection, and I was so mad until I realized that we had until we got a movie theater, and then I was like, yeah, this is life. And I remember we had 2 arcades, and the one was a small one, and I didn't know what to feel about that, and is kind of like the headquarters. I like the headquarters though, because it had like popcorn and all kinds of stuff. I remember that was the only thing I used to eat.
Yeah.
That's every time I find that cheesy popcorn, that's all I think of. I used to eat it back and watch movies, and that was my headquarters. And I remember when we first met Matt, we he came over, and him and what was it, his mom or something?
Yeah, his mom.
His
Karen.
mom. And who else came?
We had we've had a few people. We had the one guy that was like the original person to upload claw machine videos on YouTube, like how to play them. He was there with Matt.
Yeah, we've had a whole bunch of people go to our old channel. So I let Dad ask a few questions, and then we like one more question or something, and then we can talk about the channel, and then make it end it there, because we've had a pretty long live stream. This is not a live stream, a podcast.
All right. Well, one of the cool things for me about having ownership over the games was I always made the games a little bit more than what they were. For instance, we had a motorcycle virtual game that you actually sat on an actual crotch rocket, and you would race, and we had a competition on that, and if you got the fastest time, you'd win $200, or whoever had the fastest time. So that was one of the things we did. Another thing that I did from just living there and getting bored, we had a Jurassic Park game. It was one of those ones you get inside.
Oh, you I remember you made a
volcano inside of it.
inside
Yeah,
of
it was an interactive. I had like a little scene, and the volcano would erupt while you were in there playing. So I did cool things like that, and a lot of the stuff that I got was for Bray. I got him the SpongeBob racing game. When I got the skee ball, I was thinking about him. We had like 3 or 4 skee balls. But what was your favorite game while we were there?
I don't remember most of the games, but I don't remember the title of it. But what was it? The circle. It went like this. The truck, and the trucks went around, and you had to get them in.
Yeah, he had to put quarters into the bed of a dump truck, and you had to knock it over.
And my second favorite was the one that, remember, you had the big glass, and then it went around and you pressed it, and that's how much tickets you got.
Yeah, the I can't think of the name of that. Cyclone.
Yeah,
and
I like
Wheel of Fortune too.
I like the Cyclone and the Wheel of Fortune. So we're just gonna talk about the channel real quick. So what do you think we should I'll let you guys decide too in the comment section down below. What do you think we should do more of? I know I have this thing where I can record my screen, so I think I'm gonna do like a few gaming videos and stuff like that. But what do you think that we should main base the channel on?
Well, honestly, I think the podcasts are something cool. I mean, we can bring in different people, and that way maybe we have like Joe. We can just have him ask the questions over, and yeah, I think this would be cool because podcasts give you a chance to get to know somebody a little bit more. And if there's any questions, maybe we could post who we're going to have on there, and people could give questions to ask them and stuff like that. So just let us know down in the comments if you think that's a good idea. But Brave wants to do gaming too, so I know that's going to be another part of it.
So we're going to be doing gaming and podcasting. Sounds good. Well, I think that'll be it for today's podcast. If we're gonna be doing them twice a week, or once or twice a week. If it depends on what we can do and how our schedule is, but once or twice a week definitely. And if we change the schedule, we will tell you guys in a video or something like that. So, yeah, I think that'll be it for today's podcast.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming over and supporting Bray.
Yeah, guys. So I'll see you in the next one, and bye.